On this episode of China Uncensored, she's the man! Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. Can we please put our hands together for Chinese leader Xi Jinping? Woo! I'm sorry, that wasn't real applause. I don't have the budget to hire fans, but it's like you always say, Xi, it's the thought that counts. What a statesman, a stately statesman, I might add, with trousers so high that they're reaching for the stars. Along with the Chinese dream, people, yeah! Sorry, still fake. I'd like to ask all of you watching to please join me in raising our pants in honor of Xi Jinping. Wow, it's a little snug. Now, if you haven't heard, Xi Jinping has become the reformer we've always wanted him to be. I know, it was a little touch and go over the past year. No one was really quite sure what to make of him. But after a year of cracking down on dissidents and tightening the regime's grip on the internet, I admit I was ready to write Xi Jinping off as just another bad emperor. Turns out, I was wrong. No, wait, I was right the whole time. I've said from the beginning he'd be a reformer. Note to self, delete all old episodes. Xi shocked the world last week by wrangling other top party leaders at the third plenum into consenting to wave after wave of reforms, the biggest being announcing that they'll end the re-education through labor system and, well, let's just say there's going to be a lot more brotherly love in China because you can now legally have a brother, or a sister if you wanted a daughter. Bye-bye one-child policy, hello two-child policy. Man, Xi, slow down. If you keep making reforms, I won't have a show anymore. And Alexander wept, for there were no more worlds to conquer. Well, guys, I guess this is it. The last China Uncensored. I know, thank you. But if there's nothing to uncensor, what need is there for a China Uncensored? I guess I'll have to return to my former career as an Agent Smith lookalike. Well, it's been a good ride. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again by the clearing at the end of the woods. What's that, Jimmy? You say the one-child policy hasn't really changed. What do you mean? Well, hold your horses, everyone. It looks like the news media may have misrepresented these reforms by re-reporting shallow, catchy headlines without any nuance. How could they? So, there's a catch to the one-child policy reforms. Basically, one parent has to be an only child. Then you can have a second child. So parents, if you've got siblings yourself, don't worry, your child will still never know what it's like. Unless, of course, you have copious amounts of cash to pay those family planning officials before they forcibly sterilize you. Just kidding. If local officials have to meet a quota, you'll probably still be sterilized anyways. Also, now that I think about it, the whole shutting down the re-education through labor system, which, totally doesn't resemble torture centers where you're also forced to work as slave labor. I remember back in 2003 when they abolished the custody and repatriation system. That was a horribly corrupt, brutal detention system that everyone applauded the Chinese regime for ending. But then they just went ahead and put the same people in black jails, which are horribly corrupt, brutal detention centers that were totally off the radar. Which, according to Chinese law, is illegal. Oh, that's right, China doesn't have the rule of law, so the party can make whatever laws it wants and ignore them. So great, they're getting rid of labor camps. What comes next? The lava pit? I mean, nowhere in the document about the third plenum do they actually talk about easing up on the reins of power. Actually, what it says is they will strengthen public opinion guidance, guarantee the orderly spread of information online, national security, and social stability. So that sounds like the party is only tightening its grip. So what happens to people who resist? I mean, with the labor camps gone, by the way, they conveniently left out the details of when all this is supposed to happen. But even if they do shut down labor camps eventually, they only still have the mental hospitals, drug rehab facilities, and brainwashing centers to involuntarily detain people in. And if those aren't good enough, there is always just jail. According to the Falun Gong-run website Minghui.org, as the notoriously brutal Masanjiao labor camp was being shut down, practitioners of the persecuted spiritual group who were released from the labor camp were told they'd just be sent to prison instead if they didn't give up practicing Falun Gong. The whole point of reform is to get to a society where there's an independent judiciary, due process, the rule of law, freedom of press, and freedom of belief and expression, right? The problem is, where does the party fit into that? Like 3-year-olds, authoritarian regimes don't like to share their toys. The party can't tolerate an independent judiciary, due process, rule of law, freedom of the press, or freedom of belief and expression because it means they'll lose their grip on power. If anything, the party is just getting better at deceiving people. Every time they hold a big meeting like this plenum, it's really just for them to buy more time and promise more reforms to keep everyone in place. But you know what that means? That means there's more of a need than ever for a show like China Uncensored. Note to self, don't delete old episodes. What do you guys think? Shall we keep fighting the good fight? Comment below and check back for more new episodes of China Uncensored. Thanks for watching.